DJ Moore has always been a quiet guy, in my personal opinion. And after this past loss on Thursday night to the Seattle Seahawks, he was not. Moore actually gave some very positive thoughts, though, that we should look forward to in the future, but was constructive about what's going on right now. He shared his thoughts on all the noise that he's been hearing around this Bears team. And on top of that, it's coming for me. And I think it should be for you guys, too, because we've all thought that DJ Moore has hated playing for the Chicago Bears. Well, it hasn't been a good time, and he admits that. But he wants this team to be great. And with a guy like him leading the way, and hopefully management is hearing his comments, there will be big changes. I'm here to break down all of DJ Moore's recent comments after the Seahawks game, along with his thoughts on Ryan Poles and his future head coach he wants. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to this episode of Just Another Year Chicago Bears. My name is Nick Rhodey, and as always, thank you for tuning in. Now, before I begin today's show, hit that like button if you can't wait for the changes that are coming this offseason for the Chicago Bears, along with commenting what you're most looking forward to this offseason for this team. And if you haven't already, if you please could, hit that subscribe button. And if you do all that by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and commenting your thoughts, you enter to win a custom Chicago Bears jersey giveaway. Winner will be announced this Sunday. So DJ Moore calls out the fans, but agrees with the fans with what they're saying. DJ Moore has made it known that the team has heard the sell the team chants that have been at Soldier Field over the last couple of weeks, along with the boo birds, but mainly after this past Seahawks game. And he wanted to address it on 670 The Score. He is in favor of the fans, by the way, a good piece for management and ownership to hear out as your top captain on the offense is saying, hey, we're listening to the fans. We want to be better. You guys up top need to give us the coaches and the right resources to do so. And he said on 670 The Score, quote, you could see it, but you can't really have a reaction to it at the time because they're our fans. They love us. And right now we aren't doing too well. I can understand their frustration. They paid good money to come see us play and win games, and we haven't, unquote. So at least we know that the top players are hearing us out, especially what they're hearing at Soldier Field. Along with that, he gave some reassurance to fans for 2025. He said, quote, we have the pieces. We've got to be able to work better together, unquote. Along with that, too, he delved a little bit more deeper into this year, saying, quote, this year with the 10-game losing streak, people are watching and seeing how we're losing in the pieces we have. It would be the best job in the world for our next head coach, but also it's like, dang, what's actually going to happen and how can I fix it, unquote. So now he's kind of talking about what we've been saying as fans, like what head coach, what GM, what players even want to come to Chicago, right? Well, DJ Moore is agreeing with us on that. But also, he's kind of selling like we have the pieces, and this is a challenge that someone can come in and fix for us. And that's where it led to DJ Moore talking about who he actually wants to be the Bears' next head coach, which is very exciting. And I talked about him a few days ago, and the news broke on Christmas. And I'm happy that DJ Moore, at least one of the captains, is leading this conversation at the moment. So that conversation right now is that DJ Moore wants Pete Carroll to be the Bears' next head coach, or at least highly considered. When the news broke on Christmas from Adam Schefter that Pete Carroll has expressed interest in coming and coaching the Chicago Bears, it clearly wasn't just heard by us fans, as DJ Moore is going to be on this team for the next 5 seasons after this one. And he chose to chime in on the situation on 670 The Score, saying, quote, Pete Carroll is respected and he has done it at a high level, unquote. And when he was asked whether Carroll would be a good fit for the Bears or not, he along with said, quote, everybody would have to pay attention and listen because he has done that already with the Seahawks, unquote. Along with that, he would say, quote, with Pete Carroll, we're all on the same page as far as getting somebody in here who's going to lead the team in the right direction, have a solid game plan week in and week out, and is going to let it loose no matter what, unquote. So he's talking super highly about Pete Carroll coming to this team, and the players are weighing in now on who they want as their head coach. And I think DJ Moore being a part of 2 bad organizations in the Carolina Panthers and the Chicago Bears as of recent, he knows what it's going to take in order to fix things around, as he has friends from all over the league that have played for much better teams and definitely talks to him. And this after Moore's comment on 670 The Score, where he wanted the Bears to get an offensive-minded coach, then comes out and talks about Pete Carroll, who's a defensive-minded guy. So clearly, like us as fans and me, he changed his mind because the opportunity presented itself. And as a player in the NFL, he sees the experience in leadership just over being an offensive-minded guy. Pete Carroll, a guy with a 137-69-1 record with the Seahawks in 14 season, was in the playoffs 10 times with 5 NFC West titles, 2 Super Bowl appearances, obviously 2 NFC championship wins, and 1 Super Bowl win. And this guy also develops players to reach their full potential. And he did it back in the 90s. He did it in the 2000s with USC. He did it in the 2010s with the Seahawks, and in the early 2020s so far with the Seattle Seahawks. I mean, guys, Moore sees someone who comes in, owns the locker room and the culture, leads this team onto the field, and also has a great track record. And I have to agree with him on this one. I see a lot of people seeing that Pete Carroll is too old, but he's still breathing. He still knows football. He's clearly shown he's been able to do football for 35 plus years. And the thing is with that comment right there is he shows he can adjust to the modern day NFL every single time because he's played through many different types of evolutions of this league. And he's done it at a high level, and the credibility has been there, being a winning coach. And, you know, he would be the Bears' best head coach ever if he just walked in the door by a record perspective. But the Bears need a proven guy who can develop players, and that's what we all want, right? Well, he proved he could develop Russell Wilson. He can do the same thing with Caleb Williams. He's proven he can develop offensive lines. He could easily do that in one offseason, and he already has a lot of pieces walking in, kind of what DJ Moore is already saying. And we want a proven guy. Overall, an impact would be immediate from Pete Carroll, and I trust Carroll can get the job done from an offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator perspective, as Seattle's current head coach is the former defensive coordinator that was under Pete Carroll. So a lot of good things there to consider, but don't put Pete Carroll out of the running yet. And I want to hear your guys' thoughts on that as well. I think that we have to at least interview him. Do we get a better mind than him now? Sure. But a guy with his track record, you at least have to interview him. And kind of going off that a little bit more, talking about that we already have key pieces in place, which we do. DJ Moore, Roma Dunze, Caleb Williams, Cole Kmet, DeAndre Swift, Darnell Wright, Dron Dexter Sr., Montez Sweat, TJ Edwards, Jack Sanborn, Tremaine Edmonds, with an asterisk on that one, Jalen Johnson, Kevin Byard, Kyler Gordon, Jaquan Brisker, Winnie Sally. We have pieces, guys. Torrey Taylor even. We have pieces, but we have to be able to put it together. And the guy who put that together is Ryan Poles. And DJ Moore actually went out and defended Ryan Poles on 670 to score. Moore was asked his thoughts on Poles' job security, and he defended the third-year general manager, saying, quote, "I don't think so," unquote, when Moore was asked if Poles' jobs was in danger. And then he followed up with, quote, "He has put this great roster together. He's been doing his best that he can. He can't go out there and play for us, but he can do that, and we can play for him," unquote. So I take that because the Bears do have a good roster. And we have a solid defensive secondary, solid wide receiver room, solid tight end room, solid running back room. We even have a good run linebacker room. We have $82.1 million in cap before the adjustment, and that's before we get rid of maybe some other potential players. We can bring back a guy like Keenan Allen, depending on if he catches the ball a little bit more or not. But the Bears can make a lot of free agent moves. Along with that, we have 3 picks in the top 41 picks. We can address the key areas of need. We're going to spend out and get those trench picks. This team can be very good, guys. I'm not sleeping on it yet, but the mistakes have been there. He didn't address the trenches, which I talked about in my last video. But Poles needs to stop finding players that remind him of him when they go out on the field. Do I think Ryan Poles should be fired still? Honestly, yes, I still do. Unfortunately, like if we're going to do this thing right, you got to clean house. But if we keep him, I am going to support him. I still think that he's brought in good pieces. There's 2 sides, half glass full, half glass empty. It is what it is. I think that the Bears should clean house, but if we keep Poles, I'm not as upset as you think I would be about it. I think that the Bears could still go out and get some good players. They still can get things right. And with Kevin Warren now leading the way and having more hand in what to say, and maybe the next head coach, Poles can make some better decisions on the trenches. But we'll see what ends up happening. But guys, with that, thank you very much for tuning in to this episode of Just Another Year Chicago Bears on this beautiful Saturday in Chicago, Illinois. And wherever you're watching from, hope you're enjoying and hope you guys are having a very good holiday season. Happy New Year if we don't talk to each other before this upcoming week, but we got tons of Bears news coming your way, so don't miss out. Please hit that like button if you haven't already, comment in the comment section below, and subscribe to the channel. But with that, thank you as always for tuning in this episode of Just Another Year Chicago Bears. My name is Nick Brody, and as always, bear down, baby.